Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream scene. It is great to have you guys here. We've got a fantastic, jam-packed, informational episode talking about sub-only streams, a brand new feature that Twitch just released. I will explain more in just a second, but first, I gotta say hello to my lovely co-host, the Hunter Wild. What's up, Hunter?
Trying his hardest to keep it together.
Good afternoon, Loco and friends. It's a pleasure to see you on this fine and lovely day. It's a tremendous surprise that I'm really excited to talk about this particular subject matter today.
You okay?
Quite unlike everything else. Quite unlike everything else that we talk about here. But I'm not going to linger on it too much because we actually have a lot to cover with it, and I'm intensely interested in getting the perspective of the 2 to 3 collective fantastic and fabulous guests that we have on the show today, BlueandQueenie and Dylan, aka Cooperatives, formerly known as. Fantastic people, and I'm really excited, intensely excited to hear what we all collectively through the dialogue and discourse of the day have to say, and find out really about the perspectives on the sub-only stream feature. Now, if you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, who are you? What are you about? What do you do?
BlueandQueenie can go. I was gonna say, I've been here before.
Go first. Yeah, you wanna go? You introduce us anyway, because you're better at that.
We're BlueandQueenie. We are a couple double perspective streams, so 2 gameplays, 1 channel. We've been partnered for 3 years, and we've been streaming for 4 years. And we play absolutely everything: PUBG, Minecraft,
Bar Fortnite,
Sea of Thieves. We don't play
everything
Fortnite.
bar that.
And yeah, we are kind of chat box, community focused. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's why we're on Twitch.
And the most question we get is because our accents are different. I am from Northern Ireland, and Simon's from England.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, just go ahead and squash that before it starts. Someone in chat.
Somebody
Yeah.
else.
I'm Dylan. A lot of you guys probably know me as Cooperatives at some point. I am a mental health advocate, and we are pursuing life coaching on Twitch. That's kind of the avenue we're going. We do a lot of just chatting. We talk a lot about mindfulness, behavioral patterns, how we can kind of get out of our own way in life to try to, I don't know, be the best we can be, right? We do play video games from time to time, but we do, like 6-7 hour streams. The bulk of it's chatting with you guys and helping you guys and really having some sometimes tough conversations, sometimes like educational, depending on what the discussion is. And then we'll end the stream. Usually Destiny 2 is kind of where we've been, really embedding ourselves in that game directory. But yeah, that's what I'm all about. So
Awesome. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about sub-only streams. So this is a feature that just came out last week. And it's obviously with any new thing that happens on Twitch, there is a lot of discussion that takes place, especially on Twitter. So I've talked about it on my own channel too. And basically, it's exactly how it sounds, where you can, affiliates and partners can start a stream instead of being open to everyone, being sub only. So for non-subs, you'll get a 5-minute preview. You'll be told that you have a preview and you have to subscribe to continue watching. And then that's basically how it works. People that have access to the sub-only thing, sub-only streams, are affiliates and Twitch partners, must have broadcast at least 90 unique days as an affiliate Twitch partner. So you can't like make a new account, get affiliate right off the bat, and then start doing the sub-only stream. So you actually have to be streaming for 3 months, and must not have violated the Twitch community guidelines in your last 90 unique broadcast days. That means if your channel has received a suspension, you would need to broadcast on 90 different days without another violation to be eligible again.
So those are 90 unique broadcasts. That's not that you broadcast once 90 days ago and once again today, and that's a 90-day stretch, and therefore you're good to go. Actually, separate days on which you streamed, that must add up to 90 or more.
Correct.
Wow.
Which
is pretty serious. That's a commitment.
yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things they said in the blog that wasn't very clear, and I was like, like, can anyone just like become, because you can get an affiliate in under a month. I was like, these people have instant access to this.
Yeah.
So one other thing about the sub-only streams is you can choose to include moderators and VIPs, so they don't actually have to be a sub to watch it. Like, they can override that feature, which is pretty cool, because VIPs, you can elect up to 100 VIPs, I believe is the max. So that's something that I don't think a lot of people may have noticed.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't actually read the blog post, to be fair, that I noticed.
I'm very surprised. But I think an important note on that too is a technical distinction, unless I'm mistaken, is that VIPs that's something that the number that you can have scales with the number of subscribers you have.
That's right,
Is it subscribers, or I think
know.
it's active chatters that scales the VIP up?
Yes, it is. It's active chatters
Yeah.
or something. It's like a target goal you have to
there's-
hit in Twitch, but it's not subscriber based. It's definitely like either active chatters or how many viewers you've had at one stage.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
It's clearly analogous enough to maybe need to be further defined on our dashboard.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
I like that addition.
Yeah, I like VIP. Well, I'll let Loco direct us. We'll talk about it. I like the VIP edition. There's a lot of cool integration that can happen with that.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm a fan of that. You know, for those that reward community members that can't afford a sub or something, and they can have access to the sub only stream. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, if you have patrons that fall outside of, like, if you use Patreon and you have patrons that fall outside of like subscribers, well, in theory, like, if you have enough of them, right, you can VIP somebody to be part of that community night, if you will, or something of that nature as well, if you want to do that legwork. So you can mix and match that to some degree, I think, too.
Right. So there's been a lot of discussion. I think I've explained the basics of how the sub-only stream works. For chat, the chat is open to everyone, so you can still chat even if it's sub-only and you can't watch. But obviously, the streamer can just make the chat sub-only as well.
They could.
Yeah. So yeah, it's received a lot of interesting conversation. A lot of people are kind of scared, upset, confused, worried. Rightfully so, I think, for a lot of reasons. So what are your guys' initial thoughts on this feature?
I think there's a really heavy knee-jerk reaction that most people that aren't super savvy with how Twitch and business works on Twitch, or even broadcasting goes, like, there's a knee-jerk reaction to say that, like, there was this kind of all or nothing of, like, if I was like, hey, I think I'll use this feature, somebody was like, oh, so you're only going to do sub streams now. It was this weird all or nothing. And I think to do this once a month or once every 2 weeks, it's, you know, you're the broadcaster, whatever. I don't see a lot of issue with it. I think that it's a really unique way to support a broadcaster. I think that pretending that we shouldn't celebrate people that can pay and, like, everybody should get the same equivalency of content is, like, a little ridiculous. In my opinion, I think that, you know, it's, if you don't like that I'm doing one sub only stream per month, catch the 20 other free streams I do per month. Follow my Instagram. Like, there's so much content out there. You know, it was very strange, but there was a lot of, like, it was all or nothing. And if you were going to do it, it sounded like people were, well, I can't get on board with that idea. Which was just a very strange knee-jerk thing on my end. I know BlueandQueenie talked about the potential for abuse from this. I know that I would love to hear that extrapolated on as well.
Yeah, I think for us, well, we like the idea anyway, because we do loads of sub content anyway, not just exclusive. You know, obviously we used to do sub events and stuff like that. We do sub servers. There's loads of things we do to give back. I like the idea. I don't think we'd use it, not at the moment anyway, but I do like the idea of where we can give subs a little bit extra, a little bit more. Obviously, we stream, you know, 20 plus streams a month, as you said yourself, and majority of them are going to be free content. Anybody can watch, but it'd be nice to give something back to subs.
Yeah, the option itself is good. I think the option is great.
Yeah.
But the practical uses of it, I'm not sure how you could say to your community, okay, we're going to do this today, because you couldn't really just do a normal stream. It would have to be something special. Right? Otherwise, the backlash is going to be big. And I think I completely agree with you, Dylan. Like, it's very quick for everyone to get their guns out at Twitch and go, what is this update? Why is this here? Like, we didn't ask for this. But the option's great. Like, the option's really good. Just to have it in your backpack and to use as a tool for a very specific purpose is great. It's weird that the chat box is still open to viewers, though.
It's interesting.
That's kind of weird. It would be nice to you might as well just go all in.
I think it's an inner. It's like
and just cover it all.
Yeah, like I don't know. If you see somebody reacting in chat, like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing that," then somebody might be like, "Okay, maybe I want to sub a little bit." Like, what's going on right now? Like, I could see like as a marketing tool, it's a little weird.
I have a touch of cynicism here, and this does not. I want to be clear about this in advance. This does not actually reflect the totality of my perspective on this. I will cynically say that the same people who will go, streamers are begging for money, streamers are begging for subs, are also then going to go, how dare you actually provide something that is unique, exclusive content to subs? It's like, well, I'm either doing the thing for free and you choose to support without necessarily getting anything exclusive and special, or I provide something exclusive and special, like at least rarely on occasion.
Is that something you guys still get? Do you have those people who say, like, oh, you're just doing this to get money?
Oh, 100%.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
We haven't had that.
I definitely
for a long time.
Teach
but
me your ways.
Yeah, please, I would love to. It's
Bottom.
I think it's all about delivery. We're very careful in what how we explain. Like, you will see massive paragraphs on going, okay, we're doing this, but don't panic, it's this for this reason. And people get it.
I think we try and explain where we are. Like, even like, we're very open. I think sometimes, like, financially wise, we say, right guys, we're fine, don't worry guys, we're all good, and we're doing this, we're doing that, and our sub counter's great, and we just sort of say where we are. We've always done that. So I think people just like, right, they're honest, they're open about it. Where we live in Northern Ireland as well, so things are cheaper in regards to that. So people don't really bother us for financial reasons. They know it's a business, but they don't take it like, they don't attack us for it, or for doing like sub only servers and stuff. They get that. So
it'd actually be pretty interesting to get the take on the only other thing that we have that's similar is VODs. VODs only available to subs.
That you can put a paywall.
I think you can lock them down.
What would be the you can lock your VODs down to subs only completely. Yeah. What's everyone's take on that? We've never used.
I mean, when I record,
we know people who do.
Like, if I record like a podcast that's going to go on my Patreon and be exclusive to Patreon for so many days before it releases for free, I do the same. I'll take that VOD for that podcast and make it sub only. That way, like, because if you can watch the VOD back, then most people just, like, if you're going to use this as a special celebratory thing, I think locking the VOD down just makes sense, or else it loses that speciality. Like, yeah, you weren't there in real time, but you kind of get the idea.
Well, and what's more is, like, and I do this all the time, is you can literally open up the VOD for the stream while it's going.
Right. It's like only a 10-minute delay. Like,
it's like
it's the weirdest DVR. Yeah.
Exactly. It's super strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Wait, if we do a sub-only stream, can you open the VOD 10 minutes? Is that a thing?
So actually, by default, the VOD will be locked to subs, and then you can choose as a broadcaster, you can choose to open that up if you want.
Okay.
Loco. There she is.
Yeah.
Not too crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Good feature.
So I mean, I think that's an interesting thing where it's like, do you open it so that you can, you open it maybe on a delayed schedule, like 3 to 7 days later, like, okay, here's the sub only stream, everyone can watch. That could definitely appease the non-subs, or do you keep it private because it would devalue the sub only streams, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I think it depends on what you're doing and what your perspective is on that.
What it is. Yeah. It's definitely very strange to think about kind of the nature of Twitch, like if we think about like when I started streaming, there were no bits and there was no affiliate, and that, I think that's for all of you guys. For a lot of people in chat, I know a lot of the people that come in here with me are newer to streaming, but like it's the monetization of Twitch has grown obviously over the past 2 to 3 years quite a lot. And yeah, I think that this is a good tool in our toolkit to have. I don't see, and the argument I always have is like the feature and the tool is phenomenal, and anyone who abuses it, that's not on the tool or feature, that's on the community, that's on the broadcaster, that's on the individual perpetrating that action, right? If somebody, I hear a lot, and I want to see if maybe this logic holds up to you guys, but I hear a lot that people are worried about sub-only streams being like the more normative thing for like bigger broadcasters, but I don't know that the 5-minute viewer timer is really going to encourage a lot of brand new people to my channel. Like people have never seen me to straight up pay, like just right out of the pocket. Like, yes, let me throw down. So I don't know that it, like to quell people that think it's going to get abused. I don't know that that's smart if you are actually looking to make any money as a broadcaster, which is not a bad thing, but the having sub-only people in your chat means they've already paid, like they did it, you know what I mean? So you should still have a good balance of free content to encourage people to be a part of the community, and then to encourage into the more special higher tier. So I think this idea that it's going to be sub-only all of the time or something of that nature is,
I think rationally speaking, if you are running a business, nobody would choose to do like primarily sub-only stuff. And if you're doing it as a hobby, then what is it threatening anyway? It's like you run your hobby however the hell you want.
And I don't think it would threaten, for example, let's say one of the large streamers, 10,000 viewers plus, they wouldn't make it sub-only because they make a large amount with ads compared to mid-tier streamers like, you know, myself and Simon. We don't make anything from ads. They're pointless to us. So it would make more sense for someone like us to do sub-only streams. Whereas the bigger streamers, no, they wouldn't do that.
They are the ones who are often at the top of the directory, who have a significantly increased likelihood of pulling in new viewers all the time.
100%.
If anybody's hurt more by putting on sub-only streams, it's actually the bigger streamers.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's very strange. And the conversation kind of, to me, turned in from a few figureheads, prominent individuals of the community. There's a lot of backlash about supporting like broadcasters as broadcasters, and there's talk of Patreon, there was talk of, you know, sub-only discords, which, you know, like I think a lot of people run and things like that, and taking and deciding, you know, like is there a difference? Not inherently. Twitch is definitely trying to keep people from maybe not going, but it definitely seems like Twitch is like, okay, so people are on Patreon a ton. How do we like do something special on Twitch? And I think that it's really important to remember that if you have a favorite broadcaster who streams full time, like the 5 people on your screen, hey, they like to get paid, or else they have to get like a real job, and then no more streams at all. So it's really important that we take and celebrate. I think personally, I will celebrate, and maybe not that often, but I think we'll take time every now and then to celebrate huge milestones with sub-only things, because subs help pay my bills. The thing that would suck the most is if I didn't have subs and then I had to go work at Subway and then I didn't get to stream as much, and then, you know what I mean? If we're going to talk about content getting pulled away.
Are those shadow subs? Can you put them in their own little chairs?
Loco got it. There we go. But yeah, that would be the thing that sucks, is if I had to broadcast less, then everybody misses content. If we're going to talk about locking content, like content's locked away out of necessity at that point, because I don't get to. So
life lock.
Right. So I think there's something really interesting about this mentality of like streamers. There's a morality compass about streamers shouldn't want to make money. And if you pursue any amount of money, no matter how noble you may think you are a dirty, dirty cheater, and you are the worst. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. And I definitely saw this interesting sort of tangential response that you had to a conversation of that. But like, broadcasters can want to get paid and like pay their bills off what they do and not be terrible people. Like there's no like juxtaposition where like X equals Y all the time. It's just not how that works.
It's definitely a very weird perspective of viewers that have this opinion where it's so weird. The whole thing is weird. Like even as streamers, like we don't like to talk about money on our stream. Like we don't like to talk about like bills and stuff because like we don't like we're trying to kind of separate that. But in reality, like that is they do go hand in hand. And, like most of us, we start streaming from passion, but we can still be passionate and still run a business, right? Like, and I think it's like this weird thing that it's like, oh, we're like those things can't mix, and you see that a lot. Like people jump to call streamers greedy for wanting to do sub only streams.
I saw the exact same. It's so bizarre how it kind of transcends like industries and cultures, because I saw the same thing when I was a career artist. I had a number of friends who were like, you sell your artwork? Unbelievable. And it was like, I couldn't possibly understand the idea that something enjoyable is of no value, is of no worth, right? That something that is enjoyable to do is of no worth. Of course it is. Now where you put that on the line, on the scale, on the spectrum, varies. But I don't think it's that hard to navigate, but we do have a general like kind of cultural predisposition, I think, to attack somebody who enjoys and gets paid at the same time.
For sure. So I do want to get back to this discussion, but I want to steer into a different direction really quick.
At hand.
Because we have a special guest that's going to join us. Noah, my lawyer friend, who is a lawyer, is going to jump on the call for a minute to talk about the latest drama incident news involving sub-only streams, which is the point made in several large companies' TOS that you cannot basically paywall your content involving their games. This is posted in Blizzard, Riot, Valve, and CD Projekt Red. They have video policies. So I'm gonna have Noah jump in the call here, and he's gonna comment on this because he's been looking into it and probably can touch on this a lot more clearer than we can. So yeah, Noah, if you want to jump on the call whenever you're ready, feel free and teach us, Senpai. What's up, Noah?
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Great. How are you?
Good.
I am doing great. I just got back from a week-long vacation, and all of a sudden the internet's going crazy about sub-only streams.
Are you surprised?
How that works.
Can't leave this industry for a second. You guys just
always on fire.
So yeah, I actually just came into the channel, and so catch me up on exactly what I should be talking about right now, if you don't mind.
Right. So we just started talking about the issue that just popped up today about the video policies on several gaming companies' sites involving capturing their content and hiding it or restricting it behind a paywall, where a lot of these companies are saying like, you cannot do this, like your content cannot be commercialized. What is your interpretation of this? Does this make streaming these games in a sub-only stream against these policies?
Yeah, so that is my interpretation of it. And to be clear, there's a lot of back and forth about whether or not what is already occurring is a commercial use. Obviously, these companies have taken the stance that streaming their game, say if you stream Witcher 3 on Twitch, that is a non-commercial use, even though you're being paid on your theoretically generating revenue from doing that. So they're taking that stance, which is great for streamers, and that's awesome. But what they're going further to do is to say this paywall, limiting the access to that content, is without any further compensation, without buying a further license from us, is against our policies. And I fully believe they will actually do something about it.
I think it makes a lot of sense having it structured that way too, right? Because it's a singular purchase that then you very restrictively capitalize, right? Instead of leaving it open where, perhaps it has other, financial benefits to the original company, you are then like creating a funnel of money to you that does not inherently translate in any way to the original.
Yeah, exactly. And so the idea is that obviously these companies, let's take Epic for example. Fortnite blew up because people watch these popular streamers play Fortnite, and so if you put Fortnite behind the paywall, Fortnite is not what it is today, because everybody would be saying, oh hey, there's this ninja guy, I think he's playing Fortnite, let's sub and see what that's about, and then you'd have to actually take that extra step. The companies get this awesome, almost essentially free promotion by having these games be open to everyone. Your favorite streamer can play this game, and you will get exposed to it. I know I purchased games because a couple people in this call have played them. And so putting that behind a paywall definitely limits that. So that's the policy reason. But either way, I would definitely say that having a sub-only stream is against a lot of policies, especially ones that have been identified today. I know that some of the companies have less obvious wording. So for example, let's go through a few of what we got. CD Projekt expressly states that you would be charging users to view your work. And so if you have a sub-only stream, then you're charging users to view your work, and therefore it's against their guideline. Blizzard says that neither you nor the operator of any website where your content is essentially can force a viewer to pay a fee to be able to view that content. So sub-only stream would definitely violate that. Valve interestingly says you can't charge users to view or access your videos. You also can't sell or license your videos to others for payment of any kind. So not only does Valve saying, hey, you can't put stuff behind a paywall like a sub-only stream, but it's interesting going back and looking at that in hindsight, as a lot of, I represent a lot of streamers. A lot of streamers have been playing games created by Valve, perhaps like sponsored by Tostitos or something, and then you're licensing that video to someone else, and that would be against their policy. So
what about VODs then? So we spoke about sub-only access to VODs. That's been in place for years. Is that technically against it already?
I would say that is technically against it already, because that is still content that you're charging to get access to. So hopefully that's not being looked at too carefully. I know a lot of people don't make a ton of money off of their VODs. However, some do. The focus has been on the live content, but the VODs are definitely something that I think will be policed going forward, especially if they're sub only. You might be all excited during your stream to see, oh, CD Projekt, they sub to me, and they're really doing it to see what you're putting behind your paywall.
Right. Yeah. The interesting thing there is that that's not initially that's not the exclusive. That's not the only place that you're going to be able to see that content, because you could watch it live. But once the live show is ended and you then restrict it behind a paywall, that then becomes forevermore the only place that you can see that content.
And now, so we're going to have a lot more scrutiny on what is being streamed, not only by games, but
ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I think this also will expand. The sub-only streams will also have a serious effect on on music. Exactly. So that's where I've been stamping my,
There's a bit of your for it,
yeah, stamping my staff for a long time, all Prospero style. But saying, guys, stop using copyrighted music on streams, as a couple of my clients in here know. And I think that's going to receive even more scrutiny, because you're going to see the overlap from the publishers and the devs, plus the music companies, all looking at, oh, hey, this is the new YouTube, and I think there's going to be a serious crackdown.
So my curiosity is, what do you think Twitch's response to this will be? Will it be a simple blacklisting of, or do you think too many game TOSs exist for them to just blacklist this and they're going to roll back the beta? Or what, you with your infinite wisdom?
Yeah, I think Twitch is going to do nothing about it.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, well, it's not, if a streamer puts something behind a paywall, that's not on Twitch. Twitch is just the service
safe
provider
harbor situation.
Yeah, they've got the safe harbor of being a service provider, so they don't care. The more people creating content, the better. The more devs actually getting involved on Twitch, the better. The more the music industry gets involved, the better. And they're happy to respond to the DMCAs and give you a temporary 24-hour ban, and slap you on the wrist, and they're not going to lose anything from it. Obviously, they got a lot of blowback when the doc just came back, but I would say that they are not going to have any issues here.
No. Yeah, which sounds to me just like sub only streams really need to be relegated to happy fun times and just chatting, and and leave the rest to the side.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking the stance that sub only streams are a bad thing. I think they're great for a reward or something like that, especially like for all these people that raise money for St. Jude. You know, the big donors get sub only streams and the communities get sub only streams. That's a great reward. But I would definitely say that, especially with Cyberpunk 2077 coming out, this feature is not going to be as utilized as I think Twitch expected it to be. I'm taking a deeper dive into this issue later, but I expect to find many games are going to rebel against this because they're not getting the promotion they want.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have to go. So one more question before you go. This is an argument that I've seen on Twitter that people are trying to make where they're saying, well, you're not subbing for the game, you're not subbing for the content, you're subbing for the person, you're getting all these extra benefits, and then they just happen to play like a game that's like on their sub only stream or something. Is that valid, or is it still, it doesn't matter?
That's teetering on a fair use argument, and I have been again stamping the floor, saying that fair use is absolutely nothing. It shouldn't even really be in our vocabulary because it gives you no protections. I would say that, how do I want to put this? I would say that people are there, yes, for the streamer, but if the streamer's not doing anything, if they're not, if the streamer is just chatting, great, then you're there just for the streamer. But if the streamer is there playing a game, there's necessarily going to be people there to watch that game and to watch how that streamer interacts with that game. For example, if I go watch my good friend McLaffy Taffy playing The Witcher 3, as he does every Saturday, I'm there to see him advance through that game and see his interaction with it. So it's intrinsic to what we do. Now, it's a better argument for music, to say that music is just for ambiance, it's for environmental stuff. But if you're here actively streaming games on Twitch, that's what Twitch is known for. So it's harder to remove that from it.
How many DMCAs have actually happened on Twitch, as far as everybody knows? How many times has that happened?
I can give a general number, but otherwise it's attorney-client privileged. A lot. And you saw it. You saw the biggest blowback from it when like TSM Daquan and Kitty Plays got 24-hour bans for playing music that wasn't in Twitch's auto mute system yet, because it hadn't been released. It was leaked, and so it made it to the VOD and then it went out there. However, the ability to live DMCA is actually in existence already, just has not been implemented. So there's your apocalypse statement for the day.
Yeah. I mean, we saw something pretty similar when Juice WRLD did when his producer DMCA'd like 20, 50 broadcasters I knew. So it's
that's exactly what I was talking about. That song wasn't released yet.
Oh yeah.
And so Twitch actually has an algorithm where they recognize songs that have been released because they know to look for them. However, because it was leaked, the Juice WRLD producer, quite frankly, was a bot that automatically recognized it, went through and hit everybody.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you as this develops. And you guys are not following my lawyer friend on Twitter. You definitely need to. I'm sure we'll see some more wisdom on his Twitter.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And you freaking hilarious.
Oh shucks, thank you. You guys, of course, my StreamerSquare friends will be the first to hear anything I got. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Noah. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Of course. Talk to y'all soon.
All right. Bye-bye. So yeah, that was way better explained than any of us could possibly even speculate. So hopefully that clears things up.
School, yeah.
Pretty informative.
He did okay.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's this weird thing where we're gonna see people who are really who don't know anything about like fair use and like these TOSs are going to probably do whatever for a while without a slap on the wrist, but it's going to take like one person getting in some major trouble and then we're going to see that like the streams stop like just deadpan unless it's just chatting or art or even music is unless you're doing covers, right? But it's weird.
It's like putting that knowledge in perspective and information out there.
Yeah.
as early as we can, so as few people find themselves in the hottest pot in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you do see this with music, like you'll see people get banned and everyone freaks out and then people kind of forget about it. And I think most people realize like you're actively running a risk by playing copyrighted music on your channel.
Yeah.
Twitch tries to help you, but you're still open to DMCA. But with games, I feel like it's gonna be even more how do I want to put this? It's gonna be easier for devs to find you because when you're playing a game for hours. When you're playing a song, it's a few minutes. Like you're gonna have to have that company in your stream for a few minutes to catch you to issue the claim, and by the time it's done, it's in the VOD and it's already muted, right? So there's a lot of protection for that. But for games, there are no inherent protections to playing a game that's as a sub-only stream, violating the policy. I think like you might see some devs be more observant and quick to take action. I think more so than other devs.
Yeah.
I think we'll see companies maybe like Sony. Sony would be standing out for me, where they will go for anybody because they've already done it before. They've done
Sony and
DCMAs.
Nintendo. Yeah.
Exactly. Those two are the ones to watch. They will be the pains that everybody, you know what, they're already pains as it is. But other companies that really care about the reputation in the gaming world won't do it unless they're trying to either get some publicity or something like that. They're trying to get a game out there a bit more, but we'll find that Sony and Nintendo will be the ones to watch for, that really will go for any gamer they can, because that's what they do already, you know, and they think that they're providing the content, even though we all know they're not really. We're playing the game, but majority of people sub for the streamer, not for their game. That's it, really.
We're just now seeing like Nintendo kind of ease up on like, I mean, I still have YouTube videos from like 6 years ago that Nintendo copyrights me for every now and then of like a Zelda game or something I played, and they're like, nope, like taking it all down. So like we're just now seeing Nintendo like lighten up on like post-production stuff, but they're still like not caught up with streaming in the Western world, because it is very much like a Western culture thing that's spread. I feel like. So yeah, Sony, Nintendo. But I think what we see is we'll see like a Devolver Digital or a Gearbox go like, you know what, guys, whatever. We're gonna see someone who does something really strange and they don't think they have anything to lose, and that's my hope anyway. In terms of seeing a dev do that, will we? I don't know.
We have seen game devs DMCA for video games when the content was inappropriate as they deemed it, because they are the rights holders, and so we you know, it's not unheard of already for something that moves kind of in that direction, I guess, if I'm understanding you correctly. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see some considerations from some devs, because there's a lot of diversity out there.
Yeah, I think it could go either way. I think we could see a dev like completely open up their rules and include this, because Devolver knows that, you know, or Gearbox with Borderlands knows that this could be a big thing that could encourage product sales in a way. It's hard to say. Or they could go the other way and just go like, nah, and really have their fingers on the pulse. So
it might be something to do with YouTube. It's very easy to claim a video. Very easy. How easy is it for a company to claim a video on Twitch?
Depends on
how easy would that be.
I think it's really easy.
Yeah, I mean their API, like it depends. Well, it depends like what they. Yeah, I'm sure there's a flag for sub only.
I'm pretty sure it's literally as easy as just filing the claim. Like you have to back it up, but you can. It can be illegal to do it, but you can file.
I was gonna say
claim.
You don't have to back it up. We had that issue with Lyric, who was falsely DMCA claimed.
Yeah, I remember this. And that stuff does happen surprisingly often, which is bizarre. Yes. But so just technically speaking, if a DMCA claim is received, I believe a safe harbor site has to act on it immediately, and then after the fact, will try and rectify it if something was wrong, but it's not on them to spend, you know, the next 3 days trying to figure out if it was justified or not. They just have to do the work.
Right.
And so that's, as long as the claim is there, then I think they have to act on it.
For sure.
I wonder, and I think maybe that's what you guys were alluding to, is with YouTube, they just kind of there's a skimming almost that flags things in a way. Like on Twitch, we don't know a lot maybe about how easy it would be to skim directories for like sub only streams of this particular game for a dev to, or and this harkens back to like when Persona 5 came out in an interesting way, where they were like, you cannot stream past this certain day, and then a bunch of people are like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do it anyway.
And there's a couple of
there were a few kerfluffles,
like
but
Nintendo things too with stuff. I don't.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. Is it worth the risk? Not to me, it's not. But like, there are going to be inevitably people that do it, and it just depends on if devs are paying attention enough to even.
So now, outside of the legal situation, can we spend some time on the creative uses of sub-only streams?
Exactly what I was gonna go to next.
High five, Loco.
Because I think there are some really cool
Left me
things.
hanging. Yeah.
I was gonna.
Come on.
There it was.
I think there are going to be some really creative uses that come out of this. I'm excited to see what people come up with. Things that come to mind initially, obviously, are if you already do sub-only streams, like you play games with your subs. I think that's one way. Another way that my community talked about was if you're doing like, for me, my channel is family friendly. But what if I did like a Loco after dark and it was like, later at night, and the rules were kind of like more lax, and that making it sub only, it's kind of like it's first of all something completely extra and kind of like almost like a little warning, like a little buffer that to signify that it's definitely a deviation from my normal content.
Yeah, for us, like we want to do a hot air balloon stream. We just hit a sub target recently. We want to do that. That would be interesting to do sub only content because it's something a little bit different. If we can do it, it takes a while to figure this out. But that'd be something different we do, or even like, for example, putting on a face mask, getting in pajamas, sitting on the stream and talking to them, and then putting like cucumbers on your eyes, and just giggling with them all. Something like that would be sub only worth. I think.
I'm not really sure of its practical uses because they get to non-subs get to view it for 5 minutes, so it doesn't really have a practical use other than a reward. So thanks for being a top donator. Here is your exclusive stream, but viewers will get to see that for 5 minutes anyway. They're going to see, they're just watching E3. I'm not going to sub just because they're watching E3. I'll go watch it on the next guy.
4 minutes and 10 seconds if you get the pre-roll ad.
Yeah, that's
Let's not talk about that.
So I don't really see a practical use for it at all. I think a streamer would have to.
It'd have to be very specialized. Yeah, it'd have to be outside of your
They would
normal
really have to
content.
justify that. Or it'd be suicide. It'd be absolutely shooting themselves in the foot.
I will say there are a lot of people that do coaching type classes on Twitch, whether it's yoga or stream coaching and things of that nature. And I think we would be remiss to leave that out of the conversation of if you're a subscriber, then once a month, outside of our normal, like whether you use Patreon to fund those types of courses or classes, being able to teach marketing, to teach, to divulge information in that way to subs only people who paid for that. Like that's a good way to like thin that out as well. So I think that's a thing that could definitely happen outside of and that's a good way for stream coaches to be able to thin the amount of people who are asking for free reviews and stuff like that to funnel that down into people who have already paid to some
for sure. Like so that's the thing about sub only streams is this has already happened widely on other platforms. Like streamers use these like subs. A lot of streamers give their subs benefits already, and they use other tools to make things like this happen. Now it's just
facilitate it.
An inherent tool with Twitch to make it a lot easier for those people.
There's better tools out there. You could record a video and just give it to your Patreons. You could do a YouTube video, put it at private. There are so many other ways to do it. I mean, I'm not even sure Patreon really has a...
The reason, like...
needed.
I would agree, but I would just because like Patreon, like I do Patreon stuff in Loco and Hunter. Like Patreon gives you a much larger cut of anything that people pledge than a Twitch sub is. So that's why I'm not sure that I would use this over Patreon. The thing that's interesting though is that YouTube YouTube like allows you to do unlisted streams, so you can do an unlisted stream and then put the link in Patreon to people who pay.
Yeah.
Is how a lot of people have done those types of streams. You could technically, like I said earlier, VIP patrons that could then show up to sub-only streams and things of that nature to make that integration a little better. Moving people off platform is it's terrible and it's very difficult. So
it doesn't have a practical use on Twitch because there are better ways elsewhere. So the only purpose as a sub-only stream is going to be is most likely to it's going to be open to a lot of toxicity. Somebody on the just chatting section.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
so
abuse.
that's
it's going to be abused.
right. That's something that I
really-
spoke out about initially.
Streamer will go somewhere else.
Right. And so I think the main thing with that is with any tool, there's going to be people that exploit it, misuse it, abuse it. So that
streaming
was,
in general.
yeah. So one thing I found interesting was the fact that this tool out of the gate is being given to hundreds of thousands of affiliates. In my opinion, Twitch has a major moderation crisis right now. We just had issues with the artifact directory, not even like a few weeks ago, where they had to
There you go.
prevent new accounts from streaming completely. They had to enact this temporary thing because they could not control the terrible content that was being broadcast on
Which
the
I have
platform.
been calling for like a year and a half. Is that kind of set up for that exact fear? Not that I'm like some prophet, but I thought it was a really good idea.
Hunter.
Right. So now you're giving this tool that while there's no barrier of entry for staff to check it out, and people can still view it and report it if it's against the rules. But the issue is it is an invitation to skirt the rules, potentially cross the line, and increasing the amount of issues, the amount of channels that experience terms of service breaches on the platform. And to me, that is a major headache for the platform that's already receiving a lot of heat for their inability to effectively moderate the platform.
I think this is a good thing about a beta, right? You throw it out there, you see who absolutely destroys it, and then you see how to fix that for the full rollout.
You burn it down and you rebuild it. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. In this case, it's very, it's public facing, which is a problem for the exact reasons you were stating. But there's an interesting middle ground of, initially for a beta that is, almost invariably wrapped up in its purpose is to see where it fails and to fix it before the full release. And then, Twitch themselves has a little leeway, and hearing the argument, I become a little understandable. It's like, we did this so that we could figure out the unknown unknowns, the ways that people would abuse it, but also the ways that people, and this is what I'm interested in focusing on with the transition to the question, also the ways in which people will find uses for it that are interesting and creative, that were unpredictable, because that's the nature of innovation. If it were predictable, it wouldn't be innovative. There are so many ideas that I've already seen with like ways to use it and reasons to use it. My personal favorite one was from myself. It's a big surprise. But no, the reason is because it's one that I've been focusing on for a long time. It's something that I've wanted for a long time, and found myself, coming up against this problem of wanting to not necessarily have innovative content, but to have like divergent content, to do something that was atypical for me. I was always going, and probably still will off into the future, going like, well, but this risks my paycheck. If I try something experimental and it fails, maybe I lose momentum. Maybe people don't want to come back because they didn't like the little experiment I tried, or whatever it happens to be. Like people unsub and say, fill in the blank with any number of things. It doesn't matter if it's real. That's how it builds up in my head, and the anxiety's wrapped up in that. I look at sub-only streams, and I'm not necessarily for this circumstance going like, oh, you're going to get a reward for this. I'm going like, oh, I feel a little more private. I feel a little bit more protected in this, that I'm not showing it to the whole world. Even if it happens, it's just circumstantial that it happens to be people who are paying.
You're beta testing your own content.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And as soon as I started thinking about that, I was like, I do honestly feel a little bit more liberated here. It has nothing to do with the fact that people are paying for it, but that I can restrict it in a way. And I know that these are people who are at least somewhat generally dedicated to my content and myself in the community. So like feedback will be, pretty targeted. People who generally watch the stream quite a bit and have some care and concern. Right? So there are things that sort of like roll into these qualities that I'm interested in and I'm appreciating from my weird perspective on that. And likewise with like low energy streams, the atypical stuff, the things that are outside of the norm. Before I've had my coffee, maybe I wake up and we talk about something interesting once, twice a month, 30 minutes, bags under my eyes, no energy. I don't want to risk that kind of a thing, but I want to put on something a little bit different.
So you want the crappier content for the subs, Kappa.
Right, exactly. Well, that's
how you get it right.
Boundaries.
Didn't see that one coming, 100 subs, did ya?
Right. Gotta punish subs, really.
See how long they stick around.
Like a mental test. Yeah, you're subbing how long? 6 months?
You're dedicated
Yeah,
enough.
we'll push that
Dedicated enough to see me in my pajamas.
We'll see about next week.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited to see what people do because we've seen people push content in so many like really just strange ways with live streaming, and there's so many things that like live streaming could do, and it's just like the industry isn't ready or the technology isn't there, or I don't know if you guys have ever seen like Scene of Action basically puts on like one-man live concerts, and it's like that's innovation in like so many ways to me. I'm like that's insane. So private shows or something like that. Just I want to see what comes of this, but unfortunately I think what may happen is that this maybe falls off before people are willing to go into it, because the bigger people aren't going to want to risk it and the smaller people have no incentive to try it. So because
I think there's going to be a lot of bans. I think it's going to be a lot of bans. People are going to not read the blog. They're going to be like, right, okay, well, I'm going to sit here, in a very unfashionably sort of horrible pose. Something may fall out, or they're like completely naked on stream and they're going to not read the VOD. They're going to be like, oh, it's going to be sub only, and somebody's going to get banned for it. I guarantee somebody in Just Chatting is going to do that. Just be completely silly and something stupid happens, because there's so many that like already direct their subs somewhere else for that type of content as it is. They're going to do it on Twitch, and it's just going to cause a massive storm of hate. And it's going to be horrible, but it's going to happen. Somebody's going to do it.
I also want to do like technical difficulty streams that are sub only. It's like this is another punishment one. It's like my audio is terrible.
You just love
subs help.
Guys, sub the Hunter. He's making a really compelling case to give him money
Help
right
me
now.
fix my stuff. Pay me to fix my stuff.
/subscribe ?
Yeah. I always want, when it comes to like Blue and Queenie, I always want to have more faith that people aren't going to do ridiculous things like that. But like, I don't know, man.
You haven't been just shouting at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Evidence is like...
Yeah, I know. I accept the disparity between my faith and reality.
Yeah, I know it's a thing. I'm going to stay up here, though. I'm going to pretend that I'm still in the clouds.
So the only other thing is, how can Twitch moderate it? They have trouble already.
Oh, they
moderating the Just Chatting section at 2 a.m. in the morning. How are they going to moderate a sub-only stream?
I don't think it's too tough. I think the problem, as you pointed out, in my perspective, is that we expect to see an increase in negative behavior, but 90 streams without an infraction. One time you do something slightly naughty, taken away from you for 90 streams. So it's not necessarily like a giant pool of people that have to actively be managed at the same time. I think it's a safe expectation that after a little bit of balancing, which is going to be a challenge initially, after a little bit of balancing, I think it will kind of level out a bit and become easy for that reason. Because those same people, this is the only place they're messing up. They're also uploading like wonky emotes that nobody should be uploading. They're getting rejected for that stuff. Anything else that they get struck for also prevents them from doing this.
I believe does Twitch allow you to promote Patreons that have potential nudity and things of that nature as well? Either I believe they cut that as well. So most of the time, I don't think we're going to see this Richter scale of like nude, lewd, crazy activity locked behind sub only. I think there will be a small uptick, but for the most part, people that are doing that kind of stuff are doing that on another platform and promoting that elsewhere. most of the time. I don't think we're going to see this huge eruption personally.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, it's not the blatant like I'm naked on stream breaking the rules type of thing that I think we're gonna see. It's gonna be those things that are kind of like watching like certain YouTube videos or something, or showing things on stream.
Shots for subs or something like, alcohol consumption, which is against TOS, will probably be a thing that I think that maybe will need to be moderated more than almost anything.
Shots for subs
and I think
against TOS.
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
Well,
Shots for subs is against TOS.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
There's an extension.
Okay.
You can't. You
That
are
happens
not
all
allowed
the
to drink alcohol. Yeah, it does. You're not allowed to drink alcohol as a donation tip bit sub
Reward,
incentive.
Is that an American thing, or is that Twitch as a whole?
That's
It's a Twitch thing. So
I think it's a
the
Twitch
source of that is self-harm.
Yes.
And
Because people
that's-
get too inebriated.
That's where it originated. Yeah, because there's
Iced tea shots.
yeah.
One of our friends are doing it right now.
One of our friends is actually.
One of our friends are doing it right now. Okay.
You mean one of your friends is
That's
thinking about doing it right now and not actually doing it
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
What friend? I don't have any friends. I don't know. I
Who's
don't
a
have
friend?
any
I
The issue at hand is that increased alcohol consumption is considered self-harm. Self-harm is against the terms of service, so there's the extension that, especially since the more you drink, the less you are able to manage your decision making. The more you drink, the more likely you are to actually be engaging in self-harm and be unaware. So it's just brought all the way back to no shots for any incentivization stuff. You can drink on stream. You can't get drunk on stream.
You can't have people pay you to get drunk.
You can't
really,
you can't
is
have
where,
people-
yeah. Mhm.
You should not have people pay you to, or have that be perceived
Yes,
as a
yeah.
thing that you're doing.
That's
Correct.
fine.
Either
People
way,
don't need to pay me to get drunk.
That's
I'm
okay.
Irish.
We don't do that. That's fine.
I usually pay for this.
So,
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
and based on like chat and the reactions here, I think more people are going to do that and kind of incentivize that a little bit. And so I think like that might be a bigger problem. But I think what Loco said is obviously true as well. Is like people watching things they shouldn't be watching, or like a lot of people said that like sub only movie nights. I don't have to go to Rabbit anymore. No. You still have to go to Rabbit. You cannot watch movies on Twitch. Like you cannot do that. And so yeah, I think we're going to see some people that just cut some corners and then do some weird things. But
Yeah. In terms of unique content, or different uses for the sub only feature, I did see one streamer on Twitter mention doing Just Dance streams sub only because it's a more comfortable feeling. There's less people coming in and harassing or being a jerk, and so they have kind of that comfort of this is what I want to do, and I just kind of don't have to worry about people like creep in.
yeah, if you're having like a low mental acuity kind of day, or you don't feel like getting harassed a particular day, yeah.
You'd still have
Yeah.
4 minutes 30 seconds to view that, though.
True.
When you-
It's
Right.
sub
So
only
it's-
chat.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, I guess sub only chat. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing I thought would be interesting is you see on other channels or other platforms, you see a lot of people who have talk shows that are, for the most part, paywalled already. Like they have their own site. You could subscribe to get access to all this content.
Yeah.
And so you might see some large successful shows kind of bring that here where it's just they pull it off seamlessly and they have 1,000+ viewers, and it's just a very understood mechanic that their streams are always like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
you
true
know,
too.
yeah, I know several very large podcasters who like do a pre and post show that's only allowed like they put that on Patreon, similar to kind of what you guys do here, and so they may open it up to like, oh, now subs can view the pre-show and post-show, and then the things like that could be toggled on and off to a degree, I believe.
Yeah. So any other thoughts? Anything else you guys wanted to comment about sub only streams?
Let broadcasters make money, man. Just that's the only thing that I was frustrated about on day one. I don't care how you guys run it on your channel, because I know how
it won't really work though. You won't be able to make money through it. You generally won't, because streamers, well, maybe for your content alone, Dylan, but for a normal person
I
who
agree
just
with
plays
you.
game,
Yeah.
it won't be suitable, because
I think that's exactly why it's fine.
It's like,
I think that is itself. That is the argument precisely for why it is an acceptable tool to have. If you can find a creative use for it that does generate revenue for you, it's likely not to be scummy. It's likely to be innovative and interesting.
Amazing, yeah.
Because the uses that people have brought up over and over again, and that we keep bringing up that are definite and clear. Violations of trust of your community, and in excess of what most of us would find acceptable, those are absolutely inherently going to be damaging. And it takes you, I mean, how many streams does it take any of us to do something and see numbers drop or see revenue drop and go like, you know what,
not even one,
do that ever again?
Like half sometimes. I'm like, this is bad. This is not going on.
It takes care of itself. I really do. And I think that makes it an acceptable tool. I love having options and creating the opportunity for me to innovate. It doesn't force me into doing any of it. In the where it's bad, those people will be harmed by it, and that's not me. It works.
Yeah,
communities just
but most likely they'll be harmed by it, because the trouble with Twitch right now isn't the fact you can't reward your community. Patreon and all the other ways to reward your community are there. That's not the problem. The problem with Twitch at the moment is exposure. It'd be nice for Twitch to do some promotion, maybe with tags, make some changes with tags, or make some promotion exposure material that we could easily access. Here in the UK, we've only just been given bounty boards. Yeah, and you guys in the US have had that for
a
year?
No, not a year, 6 months.
Some of you have had it for a year during the beta testing, but we've only just received that.
Yeah,
and it'd be nice.
It's unnecessary. Like,
well, I think that's a legality thing with the way that they have to work that out. I think with the
most likely, but. The trouble that we suffer from is exposure. Sub-only streams are not really, I don't think they're going to make money, and they're not going to give you exposure. You're not going to go, somebody's not going to say, oh, he's locked his channel down. Oh, let's tell all his friends. Let's tell all my friends about that person. I don't really see that working. It's only going to be negative.
I
don't think many people are going to use this. The only people who will use sub-only stream,
people who are like classes,
people who are like self-driven, or people like the just chatting, just dancing streamers.
Just dancing.
They are going to be the only ones to benefit from this, and this is my problem with this. This is a feature that only those people are going to benefit from.
I think that depends on your sense of benefit, because I think I will benefit without making extra money. I benefit, like I was saying, from the reduced anxiety in testing out new content and new features, and then my ability to see that
4.5 minutes, everyone will see that. For 4.5 minutes, everybody will see that.
Yeah, but
there can't be any comfort in having a sub-only stream, because for 4.5 minutes, everybody will see that. And I'm pretty sure you could go incognito and see it again for 4.5 minutes. There's going to be ways around it.
And it will be for a lot of people.
You can't actually, you need to be signed into a Twitch account to actually view the timer.
That's good.
The countdown.
For free. Yeah, you could sign up for free. Like, there's going to be ways people are going to get around it.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be private. There is value to it. Without a doubt, and that value I wish to capitalize on.
I get that. I think it'd be nicer maybe
for 1%. I don't think it's going to benefit.
I think I understand what you're saying, though. It's like it's them working on something that a lot of us have made a massive big deal about it, but it's only going to be beneficial for a small percentage. But a lot of our audiences have all made a massive deal about it, and it's not that big of a deal, but it's just so controversial to a lot of them, and I don't think it's that big, because only a small percentage are going to use it. But it would be nicer for them to, for example, the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes is a big thing for us, because I'm like, well, there shouldn't be any 5 minutes. We should just be locking it down.
Because if you're trying to
that should be a toggle. That should be a toggle.
We should be locking it down.
I think it goes all the way back to what you said at the start, Dylan. Like, Twitch are trying to promote ways for streamers to get more money and monetize their accounts, and that's great. Like, that's a great feature
when it works. Right.
Yeah.
To monetize more. To fight, but again, I think the most people who will use this feature it's going to be quite toxic and damaging for the platform as a whole. It's not necessary really to have this feature when you can do it more efficiently on YouTube, and so it seems like a play by Twitch to try and convert you from doing your YouTube to Patreons. Now you can do your Twitch to Patreons, so Twitch maybe earn a bit more money.
For sure.
You know, so it seems like that's the play.
It's a combat.
There's no benefit to the streamer individually because he's not going to make money. It's the benefit to Twitch.
Well,
that's why that's here.
I mean, I don't know.
how
I think there's going to be streamers that can use this successfully. I think right now I'm looking at Twitch. I'm filtering all live channels by English sub streams, and there are 8 of them, not including a test account. So
If you want your promotion, there you go.
So I think right now everyone's like, it's voodoo, right? Like no one wants to be the first
Stay
to
away. I don't want to be the
touch
first
it.
one to do it. Yeah.
Right. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with like tiered subs having emotes. There are a lot of streamers that were like, no, I'm not doing tiered emotes. Like everyone has access to all my emotes. And now everyone's like,
yeah.
hey, can we have more emote slots for tier 2 and tier 3, right? So it's going to be a change in people's thinking and how it's integrated. Like I think you're going to see a lot of streamers do like sub Sundays, and it's going to be a sub only stream.
Yep.
Like it's going to be just a regular tool that people use here and there successfully. It's going to be used as like a reward for subs, not necessarily to gain new viewers or like, you know, have a massive influx in subs on that day, but maybe just to, you know, give the current subscribers a cool benefit.
I think that it's definitely the value in this doesn't boil down to just being like monetary. I think this can be, and I think the platform stance that most people take it, I don't think this will be widely abused. I don't think this is going to be a thing where Twitch is like, shut it down, we did something wrong. Like, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I very much think that broadcasters are going to use this to celebrate something every 6 months or whatever. I think there will be people that coach it, but the thing I would encourage everyone to think about is like, we can't see a use for it yet. And we don't see like an inherent, like crazy beneficial thing that somebody could really like. A lot of us are going to go like, I don't know how to use it. So like, it's not a big deal, but somebody will learn how to use it. Somebody will make it happen. That's kind of the point of them rolling this stuff out. And I get it. I definitely understand the argument of like, Twitch could be working on other things. Twitch could also like, I don't know, hire a bunch more people to make a lot of things happen a lot smoother, but I'm not gonna.
It's just like with any game where the complaint is made that why didn't you do this other thing that we wanted? Fortunately there are multiple teams that
Checks and
work on
balances
things at the same time, and it's not the only thing that they're working on. It's probably not something that they're focusing on. It's one of many features that we don't get to see behind the scenes. Fortunately, sometimes, unfortunately, in others. This is one that got rolled out recently, and I'm sure that there are many other things in the pipe.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things where, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to really focus on what they're not working on or whatever, like, because that I don't dwell in that world of negativity. The more cynical I get about Twitch and the things they do, the more I end up not liking my job every day. So I don't really dwell on that. I would rather dwell on like how to make this a positive experience for my community. So, you know, if I offer coaching sessions or things like that on Sunday that are less personalized than the typical ones, but far cheaper than the typical ones and things like that. Yeah, like I think that's a really like standardized thing that can be done, and I might make money off of it. I might not. The money aspect aside of it, I think when we start like focusing on whether it makes money or doesn't, I think that's when we see a decrease in money. Honestly, when I try to focus content at like making money, I find that it doesn't spark the wildfire I wish it did a lot of the times. So I feel like, me personally, I'm going to use this devoid of whether it's going to actually generate revenue or not. I think that that's kind of the inherent idea. I'm not going to use this as a tool to be like sub and you know, and if people sub, awesome, but I'm not going to be like, you have to sub to this really exclusive, awesome, cool thing. I'm going to throw it out there, and if people sub, cool. But
I'd like to see a scalable preview time.
I would like to see toggles or scalable preview times. I would like to see
2 minutes. You can set it to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
30. Yeah.
I don't know why I had to get really close to the mic. Don't let chat hear this. This is just for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we'll see in a month time and see how everybody goes with it, and then we'll see if there's any backlash or if there's anything happens. Then that'll be interesting to see.
Very much like
evolving conversation. That's why I like the diverse perspectives that we brought to the conversation today.
For sure.
Yeah. I think like just with squad streaming, you know, squad streaming launched and it was like, this is super cool. Kind of. Who's using it right now? Like, I've seen Broman and Githalion use it. Literally the only two people I've ever seen use it. So it's like
problems.
Well, I think it's I think it's actually broken. Yeah, I think the squad screen's actually broken. That's why a lot of people don't use it. It doesn't carry over the viewers onto the main page.
Really? Yeah.
Don't use it
on our end, but Twitch is like, oh, it was never supposed to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, like Dylan, I think you would benefit from sub-only streams. I think you would really benefit with the stream coaching. For people like me and Rope, it won't work.
No, I don't think not really.
We already do a lot of other rewards. You know, we do a lot of, I mean, giveaways. We have subservers. We do special events. You know, it goes on and on. We have a lot of rewards already. I don't think that I don't think the feature would benefit us at all. But for yourself, I think it would.
Yeah.
So it's quite the different polls is
exactly
is really interesting. Like I think it would really work for you, but not for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's because I know, like, because you'd mentioned doing YouTube videos via Patreon, and some people might like that. And while I have found, as somebody creating a YouTube content like on a regular basis, content that I think is incredibly unique and doesn't exist on Twitch and really can't exist in the same way on Twitch. It's also content that people care less about than the live interactions that I can provide. So I think that the live aspect of it, but that may not go for everybody. And I heard a lot of conversation about like, oh, you're segregating your community to the poorer and the richer, the people that can pay, make it, but it's. If I'm adding content, I'm not taking content.
Right.
So how many of y'all have been here? We gotta go shortly, but how many of you guys were here for the switch from Justin to Twitch, and also initially for the introduction of the feature of subscriptions in the first place? It was interesting, the conversations that were had about social strata and the cultural shift that we would see, and how it all becomes money and multi-tiered subs and bits and this thing. And while I want to say all of those have turned out to not be true, therefore we shouldn't worry about this, at some point you could clearly get a class division by virtue of money. You could certainly get some kind of a social strata there. Will this be the thing? I don't think so, but is it worth noting? I think it is. So I think it's in the conversation.
Yeah, I think sub gifting kind of destroys that a little bit, because it's not about who can pay. It's about somebody who's like, here's 20 subs, whatever. And it's just, you know, who, and then again, VIPs become inclusive and things like that. The person that's always in your stream, no matter what, but they're a college kid, whatever, VIP. You know, I mean, I think it's less about exclusion, and you're not taking. Personally, I'm not going to be taking content away and going, okay, well, I'm going to cut back to 4 days a week and add one sub stream a week. I will be doing, you know, my same 20 streams a month and then one sub stream. So
I'm just going to force literally pay to get me to turn on the mic.
I mean,
some streams every day.
You could have done that anyway. I mean, really, yeah. Just Mike doesn't come on.
I mean, it's been done. So.
yeah. So it's my final thoughts. The sky's not falling. You'll all forget about this in like 3 weeks, and streamers
all right,
are.
Men in Black.
Yeah. I mean. Yes, and streamers that do this are not just trying to be demonic money makers, because they're not going to make a ton of money off of it. I think we should destroy that now. I don't think that if somebody does this, they're this really greedy human being.
I mean, yeah, I think most streamers' reaction was this is a cool thing. Like, not like I don't really I didn't see any streamer that was like, so I'm gonna change my content now. We're just going sub only. Like, no, most people are just like, maybe we'll use it at some point. But
I didn't see anybody going like, oh, I can't wait to buy my moon base with all the money.
With all this sub money. Yeah,
streamer money.
250s. Yeah.
It's interesting with how fresh it is. I'm excited.
Yeah, we will definitely be checking in on this down the road.
I'll be watching. Yeah, I definitely want to keep an eye on it. Will I be using it immediately? No, because I want to keep an eye on it. I want to see what happens first. Yeah.
No, I don't think we're going to use it immediately, and I don't think. Well, we're going to stand by and watch and see what happens. It's going to be an interesting couple of months with it, and I feel like somebody's going to screw up, and I'll just have a good giggle.
That's
definitely,
yes.
definitely. But as long as it's not me, he doesn't screw up. It's fine. So.
Yeah.
So,
just waiting on the Kotaku article, you know.
I think you did make a good point though about, you know, people just thinking streamers are greedy. I think that mindset's just got to go. There's no money benefit towards these type of streams. So that type of mindset needs to go. Like that just annoys me, and I wouldn't even allow anybody in our community with that. Like, no way in hell, because it's just pointless having those people.
That's going to have to be a bit more clearer. If a streamer is doing sub-only streams, they're not doing it to make money, because that's not going to work. That needs to be like completely grounded into people.
So people who think that are completely wrong.
Money.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
yeah, very much the moral faux pas that is. Yeah, it's. I think also just when it comes to the sub only streams and content is we're not entitled to content. Like this idea like, well, it's always been free so it needs to stay free is like I don't think that like those things need to constantly exist, and I don't there's this weird entitlement to like, well, I'm not going to support you if your stuff's not like consistently free, and yeah, if anybody ever says that to you, you're green lit to just let them out the door, in my strong opinion. But yeah, I think that if we want our favorite entertainers of any sort to continue doing what they do, we should pay them. That goes for movies and music, and broadcasters. So
Yeah, that's well said, and a great way to close out the show. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me on the stream scene, me and Hunter. And also big thanks to my lawyer friend for coming in on the show for a few minutes. Definitely check it out. But we're going to do some shout outs. Dylan, where can we find you and what are you up to right now?
I am on Twitter and Twitch, DyllonKG. I'm writing a book right now, so my YouTube stuff is on halt. My book comes out in 10 days, which is awesome. Terrifying. Yeah, I'm writing a book about my mental health struggles, everything from suicide to my diagnosis and my transformation from a really toxic, cynical, hateful individual to this thing that you guys have.
This wonderful human.
Yeah. So that'll be out. That's an ebook that's out in 10 days. You can find it on my Twitter. So
how did you write? I can barely compose like a tweet a day.
No, I've seen your threads. You've written a book.
Yeah, you write books all the time, Hunter. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's a nightmare, just so you know. Yeah.
Blue and Queenie, what about you guys?
You can find us Blue and Queenie on Twitter and Twitch. We'll be doing more of our couple stuff, playing games, double perspective, silly stuff. Don't take stuff too serious.
No, and more recent creative streams and things like that, just random stuff.
Just past our 1,000 stream, so we're very
Wow.
hyped.
Wow. So wild.
We've been counting.
Wow.
We've been counting since
4
day
years.
one. There's no website you can find this out on. You have to count. Every
Oh
stream.
no! I'll never know.
1,000 streams.
That is awesome.
4 years,
Congratulations.
1,000 streams. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hype in our chat.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome. That's super awesome. I'm upset.
Thank you for inviting us. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you.
We love
Conversations.
podcasts. Thank you so much.
Hunter, what about you? What are you up to?
When's your return?
Yeah.
July 29, which apparently 90% of the internet misread as June 29th, and everybody's like waiting in my chat. It's like, well, now hold on.
Wait a second.
I formally announced the return to streaming is July 29th. I'm really, really excited and terrified. Do I even know how to click the start stream button anymore? Who am I? You can find me on, that's going to be over on twitch.tv/thehunterwild. You can find me on Twitter constantly at thehunterwild TV. It's got a TV at the end. And of course, every Monday, except for the ones where I sleep in, right here on twitch.tv/StreamerSquare for the stream scene, along with beautiful and lovely and brilliant guests like these two, and my fantastic, beyond reproach, incredible
One adjective per stream, Hunter.
trying for it.
I am Loco. You can find me at twitch.tv/LOWCO, twitter.com/Loco2525. I am just going with the flow in the summer times. There's not really much out right now, so I've been playing, Super Mario Maker and There Are Billions and Slay the Spire, and I'm all over the place. You can find me here on Mondays and Tuesdays at 4 p.m. On here doing the Stream Doctor. We normally have a show tomorrow or tonight, right after this, Your Brand, Your Business, but I don't think they are going to make it today. So our next show will be tomorrow. We've got me doing the Stream Doctor, and then Dan Otage doing Dan's Stream of Thought tomorrow as well. So
I love Dan. You guys gotta check that out. So
it's
good.
It's so
so
cool.
good. So if you guys are new here, definitely hit the follow button here on Twitch. We do weekly live shows every single week for you guys to provide awesome educational content about streaming. We also have a YouTube channel. We have a Discord that is open to everybody. and you can find us on Twitter as well. So check us out. And if you're going to GuardianCon, me and Hunter are going to be there. We would love to see you guys. We have a StreamerSquare booth. Please come say hi to us. We've got flyers. We're going to be giving stuff away. And we are really nervous, so we'd appreciate if you guys said hi. So that's going to do it for us.
Hold me.
I hope to see you guys at GuardianCon. If not, we will not be here next week because we will be at GuardianCon. So we will see you after that. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been The Stream Scene, and we'll see you next time.